Hey everyone, and welcome back. Now today I wanted to talk about what we need to see from Cardano to see it make its next move to the upside. And so we've got a lot of different things to talk about today. Three things in particular coming from Charles Hoskinson himself, but then also I had a couple other things that I was just kind of trying to take a look at the macro market and to take an assessment on. And so we've got a whole bunch of different things to look at today. So anyway, let's go ahead and dive right in. So starting out, what we can see on crypto bubbles, we are up basically pretty much wholesale throughout the market today. Things looking pretty good overall. We can see a couple down here and there, but overall the market average I would say is probably 3 to 4% up, which is good. Overall, things looking pretty decent. We can see Cardano up 1.8% today, so a little bit behind what I would probably consider like the market average. But if we do take a look at the week, we can see also back to green, the month also continuing to stay green as well. We do have a couple reds here and there, but overall, I mean, things looking decent. We can see Cardano down just barely on the week. We can see down 0.3% on the week, almost 16% on the month, and 2% on the day. Up still about 47% on the year though. So things looking okay. If we do look at the chart, we can see a really nice move to the upside. We have come down a decent bit. I mean, highs were getting up towards about $1.30. We're sitting just below 90 cents right now. And so if we zoom in a little bit, we can actually see that we've come back quite a bit from what our recent tops were. So now it comes kind of to the next question of like, well, what are we waiting for and what kind of looks like potentially some of the next moves? One thing I did want to highlight real quick is we can see we're following a bit of a descending trend line here. We can also see potentially we might even be looking at a little bit of a wedge because we have this wedge formation kind of showing up right now. We are at basically the very tip of the wedge, so we could potentially be seeing a break to the up or downside here pretty soon. Usually when we see a wedge like this, it's going to be a somewhat like decent move. I would say it would probably actually be a pretty strong move to the upside if we can break through this descending wedge or this descending trend line, that we have been seeing coming for several weeks at this point. Been really difficult to break through. You can see we've taken multiple different runs at it, haven't actually been able to break through it at this point. So if we could see it break through, I think this would be a good thing to see. However, just given the momentum that we're seeing in the market, might not actually happen. So we'll have to keep a close eye on this, kind of see how it develops. But as you can see, we're basically at the very edge of this wedge. So something should be happening fairly soon. Hopefully positive move, but we don't know for sure. If you are wanting to trade Cardano or XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, anything like that, just feel free to use my link in the description below. I am still working with BTCC. They are also still doing that 10% bonus on first time deposits if you do use my link in the description below. So really good deal. This is in addition to the up to $10,055 per user that you can get. Also, they've been around for over 13 years, so basically longer than most of us have been in the crypto market. So a pretty good sign, just because especially in bull runs, there's so many like here today, gone tomorrow type of exchanges. Also, they have 300 plus crypto futures. So basically anything you're wanting to trade, they probably have. Also up to 500x leverage. Again, I'd strongly discourage you using leverage this high just because it can be exceedingly risky when you do that. But they also have no VPN or KYC necessary if that's something that you're wanting to do as well. So like I said, go ahead, check out the link in the description if you're looking for a new place to trade or maybe even a second or third exchange just to kind of diversify a little bit. So the thing I want to talk about a little bit before we get into the three things that Charles Hoskinson is calling out as like major developments on the Cardano network is I also wanted to kind of take a quick look at just kind of overall what would need to happen for us to see another move to the upside on Cardano, kind of super big picture. So the first thing, in my opinion, the thing that caused the first run to the upside is essentially some level of like legislative clarity within the US. I think a lot of the reason we saw Cardano move so aggressively the first time is because we did see a very pro crypto administration get elected. And I'm not just talking about the US presidency, I'm also talking all throughout House races and Senate races and all this different type of stuff. So theoretically, we should see a lot of crypto items on the agenda coming in 2025. And so obviously that's a really good thing for the crypto industry as a whole, but particularly for things like Cardano and XRP that are kind of born and bred within the US. And so this is something that we definitely want to be taking a close look at. And I think a major reason for that first move to the upside. Now, the second reason that could see us make another move to the upside would be some sort of technological advancement or innovation that is just cool and essentially would drive more adoption or value accrual or something like that to a particular chain. In this case, we are talking about Cardano. And so what I want to talk about today is, and this is actually the three things that Charles Hoskinson is talking about specifically, is he's focused on primarily tech improvements because, of course, while legislation is good, that's going to be a generally bullish thing for pretty much everybody in the crypto community, so you can't really hang your hat on that as being something that's like good for you and you alone. So what we're going to take a look at here is something from Charles Hoskinson. We can see 3 key Cardano developments. We can see here Charles Hoskinson again kind of reiterating that Cardano is a permissionless layer. He doesn't really care about what people are doing that build on it. He doesn't really care about their business models, anything like that. He just wants people to essentially be building on Cardano. We can see one of the really big things, and I actually did meet these guys at a crypto conference early on in the year, and this is Midnight. Midnight is one that I think is going to be potentially a pretty interesting project. They are building on Cardano. And so this is one that is definitely long awaited and pretty well hyped. So I'm very interested to see kind of how Midnight goes. This is essentially like a privacy chain or a privacy layer within the Cardano chain, which is pretty interesting. Quantum Hosky is another one. If a project has a token, he's always going to be pushing for it to be on Cardano or a partner chain of Cardano. And so, I don't think this is related directly to Quantum Hosky, but this is one that essentially is like, he's always pushing for people to be utilizing the Cardano liquidity, network chain, all of that type of stuff. And then also the third one that he was talking about is he's going to go build a ZK Bitcoin bridge and have something to show in May for Bitcoin 2025. We've talked about this before. The ZK Bitcoin bridge, essentially unlocking the liquidity of Bitcoin. This is something that's been kind of like a holy grail for a lot of different crypto projects. ICP's been trying to do this. XRP's been discussing potentially doing this. Obviously, we've heard from Charles Hoskinson via video before that they're also looking at doing this. This is something I do think could be kind of like a secret gold rush of 2025. And if we do see that, I could imagine that we would see Cardano, again, if they have tangible tech improvements to show. Cardano could be doing pretty well. ICP could be doing pretty well. Several maybe Bitcoin native solutions. Think about like, Stacks, Tap Protocol, Merlin Chain, some of these different things. We've talked about most of these previously on the channel, but just some refreshers on kind of different projects that could potentially fit within this narrative. But overall, given that Cardano is the oldest, the most prolific, also the highest in market cap, there are a lot of these narratives that probably would kind of default to Cardano. Also, they have the community as well, so that also does help when you're trying to appreciate price and push price up as well. So anyway, hopefully you found the information in this video useful. If you did, please do give me a like and subscribe because it really, really does help me out. Also, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, anything like that, just feel free to drop those in the comment section below because I do try to read and respond to all of those. So if you have anything that you want me to see, that would be a great way to do so. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next video.